Yeah, we've tried that. It sucks. It sucks. You want to know what actually happens when you have a player designated to be the mapper? This is what happens. Are you looking for new, intriguing adventures for your group to go on? Adventures set in a unique campaign world where a race of birdfolk rules from the mystical tree city of Elderheart. Welcome to Humblewood Tales, a companion book to the Humblewood campaign setting for 5th edition, now live on Kickstarter. Gather your party and embark on 5 new Humblewood adventures for levels 3 to 8, where you'll encounter pirate mercenaries, face off against the Slime King, take on the Amaranthine Kren in a nightmarish dreamscape, and much more. Brought to you by Hit Point Press, Humblewood Tales is now live on Kickstarter at the link below. How do you handle mapping a big dungeon when playing in person? Do you let players make their own maps as they go? Do you try to draw the map yourself as you go? I draw the map for them as they go. It is faster and easier for everyone. It just makes the game better. Somebody might be like, well, you know, back in the day, the way we used to run Dungeons and Dragons is that there would be one person in the party. They were assigned the role of being the mapper. They were the cartographer. And you know, that was their job. The dungeon master would describe the rooms and the corridors and things, and that one person, their job was to map that out. And that way, later on in the dungeon, you didn't get lost and you could refer back to that map. You know, and that was really important. You know, and back when we were growing up and playing D&D, that's what we did. We had a person mapping that dungeon out, and that's the way we did it. And that was great, and that was amazing, and that was fun. Yeah, we've tried that. It sucks. It sucks. You know what? You want to know what actually happens when you have a player designated to be the mapper? This is what happens. Dungeon Master describes a thing. The player is drawing a map. Wait. Can you repeat that? I didn't catch the last part. Dungeon Master repeats it. Okay, thank you. It's on the map. Okay, things happen. Dungeon Master describes things. Wait a second. The room is 30 feet by 40 feet, but where was that door? There were 2 doors. One was over here. Where was the other one? Where did you say the other one was? Dungeon Master describes it again. Player takes some notes and stuff. This continues onward with the player writing and asking clarifying questions, the Dungeon Master repeating himself and going back and forth. And ultimately you have this map, right? So the whole time there's this bog, this slowdown, this repetition as the player's trying to do it. And then all of a sudden, you know, they get the map, but they made a mistake, right? And then there's something really messed up in here. And then they're like, well, you know, and then you're trying to figure it out and you're just going, the whole game just is like, comes to like a little crawl. Because you want to have a player do the mapping. That's been my experience. So I don't do that. We don't do that. We have not found that to be an enjoyable part of the game. Your mileage may vary. You might have a different experience and you might find it fun to sit there and let a good portion of the gameplay be designated to somebody drawing on a piece of paper and the dungeon master repeating their instructions. You might find that valid. Well, you might object and say, well, Luke, the dungeon master doesn't have to repeat themselves. They could say it once, and if the player gets it wrong, they get it wrong. Well, you might say that, but as a player, I would argue I'm literally standing in the room. You're telling me that I can't look around and confirm my observations? It's illogical. If I'm literally in the room right now and I ask a clarifying question, you should tell me because I'm literally here looking. Do you want me to make a perception check to see where that door is? Like the door, there are 2 doors and one's here, but I didn't hear you where the other one was. Should I make a perception check to see if I can tell where the other door is? Like you can't, the argument of the dungeon master not repeating himself is rather silly in my opinion, because the players are standing in the room when they're drawing the map of the current room they're in. And so you're going to have this back and forth and it's going to bog things down a little bit. And then you have a player spending tons of time drawing out a map, and then the end result many times is not very accurate. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's not. And then you have this big convoluted map and they're like, oh geez, man, it's a big hot mess and we can't figure things out. And then there's some frustration there too. Not only did they spend their game time when they could have been playing a more interesting part of the game, drawing a map and asking questions, but now they have a map that they can't use. We've never found that to be enjoyable. Never. So, in my games, I just draw a little mini map for them when they're going through an adventure. It's faster, it's accurate, and it allows us to play the parts of the game that we enjoy playing. Now, if you personally love the idea of spending a good portion of your dungeoneering drawing maps and asking clarifying questions, and if that's what floats your boat and you have found that to be an enjoyable part of the game experience, then don't listen to me. By all means, have players draw maps. But I have found that it's not enjoyable, and I don't give a flying crap if other dungeon masters that played back in like the early days and stuff are like, well, you know, back in the day, well, this is, I don't care how you did it back in the day, dude. I just don't care. You can sit there and wax and wane poetic with nostalgia all day long about the good old days. But I'll tell you what, you take that element of the good old days and you put it in the present days, and it's not fun. And that's the only thing that I need to know. Therefore, I don't do it. Click on the screen now to watch another fine DM Lair video, or to pre-order our Layers and Legends Kickstarter and get yourself 2 gorgeous hardcover books filled with 5th edition DM resources.